Welcome, dear friend. Make yourself comfortable. Let your body settle where it rests. Feel the weight of your limbs, the softness beneath you. Take a slow breath in and release it gently, just like that. Tonight, I am taking you somewhere mysterious and beautiful. A city of stone and story, a place where history whispers from every corner, and mist wraps the ancient streets in soft mystery. You are going to Edinburgh, Scotland's capital. A city built on volcanic rock, where medieval lanes twist through shadows and fog drifts like thought itself. As we journey there together, I will count down from 10 to 1. With each number, allow yourself to let go a little more, to sink a little deeper, to find your way toward rest. 10. Notice where you are right now. The surface supporting you, the air around you. You are safe here. 9. Your shoulders are dropping. Any tension held there is beginning to soften. 8. Your breath is slowing, becoming quieter, deeper. 7. Edinburgh is waiting in the mist. Ancient stones, narrow closes, the echo of centuries. 6. Your jaw relaxes. Your hands rest open and loose. 5. Let thoughts drift through like clouds. Watch them pass. 4. The fog of Edinburgh is gathering around you now, soft and cool and gentle. 3. Your body knows how to rest. Trust it. 2. You are crossing the threshold now, from here to there, from waking to dreaming. 1. Let go completely. You are in Edinburgh, and the night is yours. You find yourself standing on the castle esplanade. This wide open space sits at the very top of the Royal Mile, the famous street that runs like a spine through Edinburgh's old town. The esplanade was laid out as a parade ground in the 18th century, a formal space before the castle gates. During the day, it hosts the famous Edinburgh military tattoo each August. But now, at this deep hour of night, it is yours alone. The fog has rolled in from the Firth of Forth, the great estuary to the north, and it softens everything. Shapes emerge and disappear. Sound is muffled. The city has become a place of mystery. Behind you, Edinburgh Castle rises on its volcanic rock. The castle has stood here for more than 900 years. Built on Castle Rock, the remnant of an ancient volcano that erupted 350 million years ago. The rock itself is 130 meters above sea level, and from this height, the castle has watched over the city through centuries of siege, battle, celebration, and ordinary life. Tonight, its massive stone walls loom in the mist, barely visible, more felt than seen. You begin to walk down the slope, away from the castle, onto Castle Hill, the first section of the Royal Mile. The Royal Mile is not technically one street, but several connected streets that run for exactly 1 Scottish mile from Edinburgh Castle down to the Palace of Holyrood House. The names change as you descend. Castle Hill, Lawn Market, High Street, Canongate, Abbey Strand. Together, they form the ancient heart of Edinburgh's old town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The fog thickens as you walk. It moves around you in slow currents, revealing and concealing. On your left, you pass the Scotch Whisky Experience, housed in an old building that was once Castle Hill School. On your right, the Outlook Tower rises, home to the Camera Obscura, a Victorian optical device that has been a tourist attraction since the 1850s. But these buildings are barely visible now. They are suggestions, shapes in the mist. Your footsteps on the cobblestones are the loudest sound in the night. As you continue down Castle Hill, you notice something embedded in the wall of a building, a cannonball, lodged in the stone. This is Cannonball House, and the cannonball has been there since the 17th century, marking the elevation of an old water supply system that brought piped water from Comiston Springs 3 miles to the south. It is one of Edinburgh's many small, curious details, the kind of thing you only notice if you slow down and look. The street changes name as you continue. You are on the Lawn Market now. In medieval times, this section of the Royal Mile was where merchants sold linen and cloth, hence the name. The buildings here are tall and narrow, built in the distinctive style of Edinburgh's old town. These are called lands or tenements, and they rise 5, 6, 7 stories high, leaning slightly toward each other across the street. They were built tall because space within the old city walls was precious. Every inch of land was used. These buildings housed dozens of families, each floor a separate apartment, reached by narrow stone staircases. Between the buildings, narrow alleyways plunge into darkness. These are called closes, or winds, and they run like veins through the old town, connecting the Royal Mile to the streets and spaces below. Each close has a name: Advocates' Close, Fish Market Close, Mary King's Close. Some are barely wider than your outstretched arms. Some descend in steep stairs. All are thick with atmosphere tonight, the fog gathering in these narrow spaces like something alive. You pause at one of these closes. You cannot quite read the name in the dimness. The fog swirls at the entrance. You step into the narrow passage. The stone walls rise on either side, damp and ancient. Your footsteps echo. The close descends in rough steps, uneven with age. You move slowly, one hand brushing the wall for balance, and then you emerge into a small courtyard, a hidden space, a pocket of quietness tucked away from the main street. There is a bench here. Against a wall, you sit. The courtyard is completely silent. The fog presses close. You can see perhaps 10 feet in any direction. Beyond that, only white. The stones beneath you are cool. The air is damp, but not unpleasant. It smells of stone and rain and age. You close your eyes and simply breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. The mist settles on your face like a blessing. After a time, you stand and make your way back to the Royal Mile. The street continues downward, always downward, following the ridge of the volcanic tail that slopes from the Castle Rock toward Holyrood. You pass Gladstone's Land, a 17th century merchant's house now preserved as a museum. You pass the Writers' Museum in Lady Stairs Close, dedicated to Scotland's great writers: Robert Burns, Walter Scott, Robert Louis Stevenson. But you do not go inside. Tonight is for walking, for moving through the fog, for letting the city reveal itself slowly. You come to a large square opening on your left. This is Parliament Square, though you can barely see it in the mist. In the centre of the square stands St. Giles's Cathedral, the High Kirk of Edinburgh. It has been here in some form since 1124, though the current building dates largely from the 14th and 15th centuries. Its crown-shaped spire rises into the fog, invisible now but present nonetheless, a landmark by which Edinburgh orients itself. You walk to the cathedral door. It is closed, of course, but you stand before it anyway. This building has witnessed so much. It was here that John Knox preached during the Reformation. Here that Mary, Queen of Scots, attended Mass. The building holds the weight of Scottish history within its stones. You place your hand on the ancient wooden door and feel the grain beneath your palm. You stand for a moment in silence, paying your respects, honoring what has been. On the cobblestones near the cathedral door, you notice a heart-shaped pattern set into the stone. This is the heart of Midlothian, marking the site of the old tollbooth, which once stood here. The tollbooth served as the centre of administration and justice in old Edinburgh. It was also a prison, and not a kind one. Sir Walter Scott wrote about it in his novel The Heart of Midlothian, and after the building was demolished in 1817, the city fathers marked the spot with this heart mosaic. There is a tradition here. Locals spit on the heart as they pass, an old gesture of contempt for the cruel prison that once stood here. You do not spit, but you acknowledge the tradition, the memory of suffering, the way cities carry their pain forward through time. You continue down the Royal Mile. The street is called High Street now. Though you barely notice the change, the buildings continue their tall, narrow march down the ridge. The fog continues its slow drift. Everything is quiet. Your breath is slow and even. Your footsteps are a rhythm. You are walking through history, through layers of time. Each stone you pass has been here for centuries. Each building has housed generations of lives. You come to a small statue on the corner of a street. Even in the fog, you recognize it. This is Greyfriars Bobby. The little bronze Skye Terrier sits faithfully on his pedestal, just as the real Bobby sat faithfully by his master's grave for 14 years, until his own death in 1872. The story is famous in Edinburgh. Bobby's owner, John Gray, was buried in nearby Greyfriars Kirkyard, and the loyal dog refused to leave his grave. For 14 years, through all weather and all seasons, Bobby kept watch. The people of Edinburgh fed him and cared for him, and when he died, he was buried near his master. The statue was erected 1 year later, and it has stood here ever since, a memorial to love and loyalty. You reach out and touch the statue. The bronze is cool, and slightly damp from the fog. The dog's nose is worn smooth and shiny from thousands of hands rubbing it for luck over the years. You add your touch to that long history, and then you turn and walk through the gate into Greyfriars Kirkyard itself. The kirkyard is a graveyard, one of Edinburgh's oldest, established in 1562. It spreads across several acres, its paths winding between ancient headstones and monuments. Some are simple flat stones, worn smooth by weather and time. Others are elaborate table tombs, or tall monuments carved with skulls and angels and inscriptions in Latin. Many date back to the 17th and 18th centuries. The fog makes the kirkyard feel like a place out of time, timeless, eternal. You walk slowly along the paths. The headstones emerge from the mist and disappear again. You read fragments of names and dates where you can. Here lies someone who died in 1683. Here someone from 1702. The inscriptions speak of lives lived and lost, of children and parents and spouses, of faith and hope and memory. The kirkyard is peaceful tonight, profoundly peaceful. There is no sense of unease, only a deep, quiet rest. You find a bench near the kirk itself, the church building. You sit. Around you, the gravestones fade into white. The fog has become so thick now that you cannot see more than a few feet. But you do not feel lost. You feel held. The kirkyard holds you. The fog holds you. The night holds you. You close your eyes and simply rest here, breathing, being. Your body is heavy on the bench. Your mind is quiet. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. This moment is enough. Time passes, though you cannot say how much. When you open your eyes, you stand and make your way back out of the kirkyard, back to the Royal Mile. You continue your journey downward. The street name changes again. You are on the Canongate now, the final stretch before Holyrood. Canon refers to the canons of Holyrood Abbey, who once had jurisdiction over this area outside the old city walls. The Canongate was technically a separate burgh until 1856. You pass the Canongate toll booth, an old civic building now serving as a museum called the People's Story. You pass the Kirk of the Canongate, the parish church, and then, finally, you arrive at Abbey Strand. And before you, emerging from the fog like a vision, is the Palace of Holyrood House. The palace stands at the opposite end of the Royal Mile from Edinburgh Castle. Where the castle is fortress and military stronghold, the palace is residence and seat of ceremony. It has been the official royal residence in Scotland since the 16th century. King Charles III stays here for 1 week each summer, carrying out official engagements. The palace is built around Holyrood Abbey, the ruined Augustinian abbey founded in 1128 by King David I. The abbey's nave still stands, roofless and magnificent, its Gothic arches open to the sky. The palace itself comprises a 16th century tower and a 17th century quadrangle built for Charles II. You stand before the palace gates and look up. The building is pale stone, elegant and imposing. The fog softens its edges. You think about the history contained within those walls. Mary, Queen of Scots, lived here. Her secretary David Rizzio was murdered here in 1566, dragged from her presence and stabbed. Bonnie Prince Charlie held court here during the Jacobite Rising of 1745. Centuries of Scottish history have unfolded within the palace walls, but you do not linger at the gates. Behind the palace lies Holyrood Park, and you make your way there now. The park is a remarkable feature of Edinburgh. 650 acres of wild landscape right in the heart of the city. At its centre rises Arthur's Seat, the highest of Edinburgh's extinct volcanic hills, standing 250 meters above sea level. The hill dominates the city skyline, visible from almost everywhere. Its distinctive profile often compared to a lion couchant. You begin to walk up the path that leads toward Arthur's Seat. The fog is thinner here, shifting and drifting in the open air. The path is rough, climbing gradually at first, and then more steeply. You move slowly, feeling your way. The grass on either side is damp. The air tastes of moor and stone. In the daylight, this would be a busy place, with hikers and runners and families climbing to the summit. But tonight, you are alone with the hill and the fog and the vast quiet. You do not climb all the way to the top. That would be too much tonight. Instead, you find a rocky outcrop partway up, a natural seat overlooking the city. You sit. The fog shifts below you, and through gaps in it, you can see lights, the glow of street lamps, the illuminated windows of buildings. Edinburgh spreads beneath you, ancient and beautiful, mostly hidden but present. The city sleeps. You rest. All is still. Your breathing is very slow now, deep and even. Your body is completely relaxed, settled into the stone. Your mind has stopped its usual chatter. There are no thoughts, or if there are, they are so quiet you barely notice them. You are simply here, present, open. The fog moves. The city glows softly below, and you rest. After a long, timeless while, you stand and make your way back down the hill. You walk through the park and emerge near the palace again. But instead of retracing your steps up the Royal Mile, you make your way toward the new town. You cross Prince's Street, the famous shopping boulevard that separates Old Town from New Town, and you climb the steps to Calton Hill. Calton Hill is another of Edinburgh's volcanic hills, much smaller and easier to climb than Arthur's Seat. It rises only 103 meters above sea level, and the path to the top is gentle and paved. Calton Hill is famous for its monuments. At the summit stand several neoclassical structures that earned Edinburgh its nickname, the Athens of the North. There is the National Monument, modelled after the Parthenon, built to commemorate Scottish soldiers who died in the Napoleonic Wars. It was never completed, and its unfinished columns rise like fragments of ancient Greece in the Scottish mist. There is also the Nelson Monument, a tall tower built to honour Admiral Lord Nelson, who died at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805, and the Dugald Stewart Monument, a circular memorial to the Scottish philosopher, designed by William Henry Playfair in 1831. These monuments emerge from the fog as you reach the summit, their neoclassical forms otherworldly in the mist. You walk among the monuments slowly. The stone is cold beneath your hands. The fog swirls around the columns. From the southern edge of Calton Hill, there are usually spectacular views of Arthur's Seat and the Salisbury Crags, the basalt cliff that runs along its flank. But tonight, all of that is hidden. There is only white, and yet somehow, this feels right. Perfect. The city has closed itself around you like a secret. You are inside Edinburgh's dream. You find a spot on the grass and lie down. The ground is cool and damp, but not uncomfortable. You look up into the fog. There is no sky visible, only the soft, luminous white that seems to glow with its own light. You close your eyes. Your body sinks into the earth. You feel the hill beneath you, the ancient volcanic rock, 350 million years old. You feel the city around you, layer upon layer of history, and you feel yourself, here, now, present in this moment, at peace. And as you lie there, the scene begins to shift. The fog becomes softer still, more like a dream than weather. The sounds of the city fade until there is only silence, and Edinburgh itself begins to dissolve around you. The stones and streets, the monuments and closes, the castle and the palace, all of it gently fading, becoming translucent, becoming light, and you are floating in this light, held by it, carried by it. You realize you are lying in your own bed now. The transition was so gradual you barely noticed it. Edinburgh is gone, but not really. It remains with you, the feel of the stones, the smell of the fog, the profound quiet of the kirkyard, the vast presence of the hills. All of it is with you still, a gift you can carry into sleep. Your body is completely still, every muscle relaxed, every bone settled. Your breath is so quiet, so slow. Your heartbeat is steady and calm. You are sinking now into the deepest rest, the kind of rest that heals, that restores, that renews. As you drift towards sleep, let these truths settle into you. You are safe. You are held. You belong to this world, and it belongs to you. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to become. You are enough, exactly as you are. Rest in this knowing. Let it fill you like light. The fog of Edinburgh wraps around you now like a blanket, soft and cool and gentle. It asks nothing of you. It simply holds you, cradles you, keeps you safe while you sleep. And in the morning when you wake, you will carry something of Edinburgh with you. The quiet, the mystery, the deep, ancient piece of stone and story. Sleep now, dear friend. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully. Let the foggy streets of Edinburgh carry you into dreams. And know that you are held, always held, by something larger and older and kinder than you can imagine. As you rest in the deepest quiet, Edinburgh visits you once more, gently, like a memory surfacing. You find yourself walking through Dean Village, one of Edinburgh's most enchanting hidden corners. Dean Village sits just 10 minutes from the city centre, yet it feels like another world entirely. Nestled in a gorge beside the water of Leith, the river that winds through Edinburgh, this was once a thriving mill community, dating back to the 1100s. You descend the steep path from Dean Bridge, and the modern city disappears. Before you lies a cluster of old stone buildings, beautifully preserved. Some date back to the 17th century. The water of Leith flows quietly past, its surface reflecting the mist. Old mill buildings line the water, their walls thick stone, their windows dark. The sound of the river is constant and soothing, a gentle rush, a patient flow. You walk along the riverside path. The Water of Leith walkway runs for 13 miles from the Pentland Hills to the port of Leith on the Firth of Forth. And this section through Dean Village is one of the most beautiful. Trees lean over the water. The fog hangs in the branches. Old stone bridges arc overhead. Everything is damp and green and ancient. You pass an old mill building that has been converted to apartments. You pass a restored well house. You pass gardens that slope down to the water. You find a bench beside the river and sit. The fog is thick here in the gorge, held by the walls of the valley. The water of Leith speaks its ancient language, the same sounds it has made for thousands of years. You close your eyes and listen. Just listen. There is nothing else. Only water and stone and the soft envelope of mist. Your breath matches the rhythm of the river. In and out, steady and sure. Your shoulders drop. Your jaw softens. Your whole body relaxes into the bench. Time stops meaning anything. There is only this moment, this breath, this peace. When you eventually stand and leave Dean Village, you make your way back up to street level and walk through the Georgian New Town. This part of Edinburgh was built in the 18th century as a planned expansion of the city, where the old town is medieval and organic, growing naturally over centuries. The new town is ordered and elegant, laid out in a careful grid designed by architect James Craig in 1767. The streets are wide, the buildings are symmetrical, the squares are gracious and open. You walk down George Street, one of the main thoroughfares. Even in the fog, you can sense the elegance of the Georgian architecture. 4-story townhouses with uniform facades, grand doorways with fanlights above, wrought iron railings protecting the basement areas. These buildings were designed for people of a certain rank and fortune, as the original plan specified. They were meant to be private and genteel, a contrast to the crowded bustle of the old town. You turn onto a smaller street and find yourself on Circus Lane, one of Edinburgh's most photographed streets. This curved, cobbled lane was built in the late 18th century when curved streets were fashionable. Small townhouses line one side, painted in soft colors that are muted now by the mist. Pale yellow, soft pink, cream white. The street curves gently, and at the end, through the fog, you can just make out the shape of trees and the suggestion of parkland beyond. You walk the length of Circus Lane slowly. The cobblestones are uneven beneath your feet. The fog presses close. There is something dreamlike about this place, something suspended, as if you have stepped out of time entirely. You reach the end and stand looking at the trees. Behind them, you know, lie the Royal Botanic Gardens, 70 acres of gardens and greenhouses that have been here since 1820. But tonight you do not enter. Tonight is for wandering, for letting the city show you its quieter corners. You make your way to Prince's Street Gardens, the parkland that fills the valley between the old town and the new town. This valley was once the Norloch, a body of water that served as both water supply and defense for the old city. In the 18th century, the loch was drained and the valley was transformed into gardens. The mound, the road that connects Old Town to New Town, was built from rubble and earth excavated during the construction of the new town. 2 million cartloads of material, all piled up to create a causeway. You enter the gardens from the east end and walk along the main path. The grass on either side disappears into fog. Trees emerge as dark shapes and vanish again. In the daytime, these gardens are full of people, office workers on lunch breaks, tourists taking photographs, musicians playing for coins. But now, at this deep hour, you are alone. The city sleeps on either side of you. Above you on one side, the old town rises on its ridge, the castle invisible but present. On the other side, the elegant facades of Prince's Street rise into the mist. In the center of the gardens, you come to the Scott Monument. This Gothic spire was built in the 1840s as a memorial to Sir Walter Scott, the Scottish novelist and poet. It is the largest monument to a writer anywhere in the world. The monument rises 61 meters into the air, a dark Gothic tower of stone covered in carved figures from Scott's works. You can usually climb the 287 steps to the top for views over the city, but tonight you simply stand at its base and look up. The spire disappears into the fog. It seems to rise forever. You think about Scott, about stories, about how this city is built on stories as much as on stone. The tales of kings and queens, of Mary Stuart and her tragic fate, of Bonnie Prince Charlie and the Jacobite Rising, of Robert Burns and his poetry, of Robert Louis Stevenson and his strange case of Jekyll and Hyde. Inspired by the life of Deacon Brodie, an Edinburgh man who led a double life as respectable craftsman by day and burglar by night. Edinburgh is a city of stories, and you are walking through them now. You find a bench near the Scott Monument and sit. The fog wraps around you. Your body is so relaxed now, so heavy, so still. Your mind has stopped its usual motion. There is only this bench, this fog, this moment. You close your eyes and let yourself simply be. And gradually, so gradually you hardly notice, the gardens begin to fade. The Scott Monument dissolves into light. The trees become transparent. Edinburgh itself is releasing you, gently, kindly, letting you return to where you truly are. In your bed, in your room, in the quiet dark, the transition is seamless. You did not leave Edinburgh, it left you. Or rather, you and Edinburgh have merged. The fog that wrapped the city now wraps you. The peace of Greyfriars Kirkyard lives in your chest. The ancient patience of the stones has settled into your bones. You carry all of it with you now, a gift from the city, a blessing for your sleep. Your breathing is so slow, so deep, so easy. Your body has never been more relaxed. Every muscle loose, every joint soft. You are sinking into your bed like a stone sinking through water, gently, inevitably, finding your rest at the bottom of the night. The hours of deep night stretch ahead of you. Hours of healing rest, hours of renewal. Your body knows what to do. It has been doing this every night of your life, repairing tissue, strengthening immunity, processing memories, clearing away the day's debris. All of it happens while you sleep. All of it happens without any effort from you. Trust this. Trust your body's wisdom, and trust the night. The night is not empty. It is full of rest and restoration, full of dreams and deep silence, full of the mysterious work that happens when consciousness steps aside. You are held by the night now, cradled by darkness, kept safe while you surrender to sleep. Edinburgh taught you something tonight. It taught you about layers. How a city can be both ancient and alive, how stones can hold memory, how fog can make the familiar mysterious again, how walking slowly through old streets can quiet the mind and ease the heart. Carry this with you. Let it become part of you, and know that whenever you need it, Edinburgh is there. In your memory, in your imagination, you can return to those foggy closes, to the kirkyard at midnight, to the bench beside the water of Leith, to the summit of Calton Hill, where the monuments rise from mist like fragments of dreams. These places are yours now, always available, always waiting. Sleep deeply, now. Sleep peacefully. Let the fog hold you. Let the stones ground you. Let the ancient city sing you its lullaby of wind and water and time. You are safe. You are held. You are exactly where you need to be. This is what tonight has given you. Not just a journey through Edinburgh, but a journey inward, into the quiet places of your own being, into the rest that lives beneath thought, into the peace that was always there, waiting for you to notice it. The fog showed you this. By hiding the familiar, it revealed what is essential. By softening edges, it showed you the truth, that you are more than your busy mind, more than your tired body. You are awareness itself, the space in which all experience arises, and that awareness is always at peace, always at rest, always home. Rest in this truth now. Let it hold you as you sleep. Let it cradle you through the night, and when morning comes, carry it with you. The fog, the stones, the ancient quiet, the deep enduring peace of Edinburgh. It is yours, forever. Good night. Sleep.